Hi everybody, I wanted to tell you a funny little story about the wolf, the elephant, and the sea serpent. So I was living on the beach in Costa Rica, across the street from the beach basically, on an undeveloped stretch, and every night I'd go down to the ocean, sit in the sand, and do my sun gazing meditation. So this time I went down and I had some things going on and I really wanted to have a good little meditation. So I kind of went down with I would say the expectation of, give me a sign, give me something to believe in, give me, give me something that's going to motivate me and that, that lets me know that I'm not alone, that there is a God, that there is this source energy and this power. To follow and to be reminded by and to be guided by. And I think we all kind of look for that in our lives, and it's amazing where we see it and where we'll find it. And if we really believe and we really have faith, then we pick up on things. So I went down to the beach, and it's one of the only times I think I'd ever been there completely by myself, and I sat down and I closed my eyes and I thought for a little bit, because the sun quite hadn't gone down enough to stare at it. You gotta wait, depends on your experience with sun gazing, but you gotta wait about 5 to 10 minutes before the sun dips below the horizon. I've been doing it for years and years, so I can watch the sun for about 15 minutes. It's a way to bring power into your body and bring the earth's energy, the sun energy in, and if you have your feet in the sand at the beach, it's even double because you have the water and the salt, and it really brings those negative ions into the body and helps your body balance out and stay calm and stay cool. And just as the sun was dim enough to look at, to stare into, I looked over to the side, and there was a string of clouds. And an artist couldn't have drawn more perfectly these three animals. It was a wolf, and then an elephant, and then a sea serpent. And the wolf had the big nose, like the wolf in the Three Little Pigs, the wolf in Red Riding Hood. It was a serious cartoon wolf with the ears sticking straight up and the big nose with the little bulbous thing on the end and the tail that swooped down. It was crazy. And then right behind that was the elephant with the trunk that was moving up with the giant ears hanging down and the rounded back body and the little tail. And to finish it all off, just behind that was a sea serpent, a big wavy type of animal that is in historic folklore that would go across the oceans and be up on the land and then back in the ocean, and could go from continent to continent. And so I looked at these things. I couldn't believe it. I was just blown away. And I looked around, and I swear there was people maybe 800 meters that way, and maybe the other direction. I didn't see anyone. So I'm there by myself. And I'm like, the wolf, the elephant, and the sea serpent. And what does that mean? So I saw it as my whole life. The wolf was me in the beginning. I was raised to be a professional hockey player, a trained fighter. Was raised by a native Canadian dad who had a pro hockey tryout. My brother also had a pro tryout. We were in the thick of it when we were younger, as tough as nails, and going out there. And then the first part of life is your ambition part of life, where you try to make a name for yourself, you try to be successful, make a lot of money, get respect, and they talk about this in the movie The Shift, Wayne Dyer's movie The Shift, in the ambition phase. And that's what I saw the wolf as a representative as, is getting out there and conquering the world and being the guy and having that adventure. And then at a point in my life, I had a major epiphany at a Thai monastery, and when I left the monastery in the water, the next morning I had a complete out-of-body experience with the waves of joy and the tears and a connection that I can pretty much describe as my spirit coming back into my body. And then I knew my life's work, I knew my mission. So the elephant was me in the second part of my life. And I see this happening as kind of like the elephant is the stoic animal that is on the land and stays in one place. And basically is complete love and complete guidance and that beautiful memory and that reverence of the elephant. And when I had my epiphanies, I came home I got into yoga. Home was Portland, Oregon at the time. I got into yoga, got my certification. After the monastery and the 10-day silence, I went to almost 10 more 10-day silences. I went to 3 more yoga teacher trainings after that. But for 5 whole years, I owned and operated the Portland Yoga Union, and this was my place. It was my home, and we had 10,000 people through the door in those 5 years. We did so much great work, and it's just so much connection, and it really reminded me the elephant was that central part of my life. And then it got to a point where I felt more like a business owner. I had 4 studios in 3 locations in 2 different countries, and I just wanted to get out and teach. I didn't want to be the businessman anymore. So then I sold all my studios, and then I started to travel around and give workshops and teach in different countries, and I got to spend a year in Australia, a year in New Zealand. I really went to Northern California and the Oregon coast, and I went home to visit my family, and crossing the waters and trying to bring together people online as well in the health program is now, instead of reaching thousands of people with a brick and mortar business and having yoga studios, now my life is like the sea serpent, which crosses the oceans and takes no prisoners and really brings land masses together. And that sea serpent now represents what I'm trying to accomplish and accomplishing with our online program, with our health program, and then also bringing people into Costa Rica for makeovers, for health transformations or rejuvenation makeovers. And that's the sea serpent. That's who I am now. So, we look for inspiration every day, but it really is all around us all the time. We just have to be open to it. We have to be able to see things and truly believe, and know that we're surrounded by our grandpa and our loved ones that have passed on, and the angels. Like, we are eternal beings that are constantly guided. Our intuition, our instincts, our inspiration, our insights, all are the ways that those eternal beings that aren't with us physically, it's how they guide us, it's how they connect to us, it's how they edge us in. So when you get goosebumps and you get chills and you get the shivers and you have deja vus, it's not a coincidence. It's all happening for a reason. And some people are so connected they can channel, they can bring in voices of eternal beings like Abraham Hicks or the late Jane Roberts. These different people that can bring in these infinite consciousnesses and talk through them and figure out blocks of thought are very talented. But everybody has telepathy. Everyone has inspiration. Everyone has communications with the angels, with the guides, with Christ, with the Buddha. These are all the famous speakers of our time, the ones that were truly connected to God, to source energy, to the universe, to the Great Spirit, whatever your word is to put on the unnameable. So, what I'm telling you here is, I guess, be open and really, look for divine signs, because they're all around us. If we just pay attention, if we stay open, we are divinely guided and inspired all the time. So, don't wait for someone else to say, hey, you're doing good, or, but just really get quiet, do the work, listen within, and almost expect great things to happen. Another thing is spontaneous joy. I'll do a video on that, but that's just kind of lighting people up with your joy and lifting up and coming together. So I hope that story was enjoyable. The wolf, the elephant, and the sea serpent. I swear an artist couldn't have drawn more perfect figures in the clouds. And it just kind of blew me away, and I looked around to see if I could show it to anyone. I had no phone, no camera. I never really walk with a phone. I go on my nightly walks and get my feet in the earth. But I'll never forget it. I know every single detail of that time sitting on that beach and the log that I was sitting next to and my dogs with me. And those are quantum moments, and these are what we live for, and this is what guides us. So I hope that inspires you in some way to get out there and be in nature and connect to the animals and to the earth and to look for those signs, because they're around us all the time. We're always guided, and no matter how bad things get, when you feel like the whole world's against you, all you got to do is pay very close attention, because there's lessons left to learn. Have a great evening. Thank you.